just, people don't see that.
Before we start our meeting today, we're going to be having the pledge, and we're going to be having an invocation. The invocation is given for the benefit of the council, or excuse me, in this case, the Board of Works. And if you don't want to participate in the invocation, that's just fine, and it'll have no effect on what you've come here to do today. We had a great Easter yesterday. The Lord gave us the greatest day. Beautiful sunshine and trees. And I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think we deserved it after the winter. But we are working with two companies right now that, if we would get both of them, would be 500 jobs. And so pray for the city and pray for those things, if you would. Everybody stand. John Baker's going to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer. Father, I thank you for the blessing that you have bestowed upon this meeting today, for this Board of Public Works, and for the integrity that they stand for. Thank you for the decisions and the harmony that will come out today for the betterment of our community. We thank you, Father, for those that are interested in employment here, that you'll give the mayor and those that are going to be instrumental in presenting Connersville to them favor and direction. I thank you for the families that are represented here, for their sacrifice while these are working as servants. And most of all, I thank you for Jesus, the prime example of servanthood. And in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Call the meeting to order. This is our second meeting of the month, April the 21st. We'll have the reading, let's roll call first, be sure who was here.
Jane Oakley. Present. Fran Schomel.
Present.
Leonard Urban.
Present.
Mike Bishop.
Present.
Ron Coldiron.
Present.
All are present. We have a quorum, we can do business. Reading the minutes of the April 7th, 2014 meeting and April 9, 2014 executive meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the minutes of the April 7th and the April 9th meeting as they've been presented.
Second, please.
Motion to approve the minutes of both meetings in April. Any additions or corrections? None appearing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Under new business today, we have a request for stormwater fees to be waived at 506 West 5th Street from tax sale property Brian Moore.
Hi, what I'm asking the board for today is to waive the fees from the time, till the time that I purchased the home. The tax sale had to wait a year before I actually took possession of the home. For that year, I didn't have possession of the home. And any time prior to that, there were fees and stuff that they put onto my taxes from the stormwater and their fees for putting liens on the property. And what I'm asking is anything prior to the time I actually own the property be waived. So
Do you know what those fees are, Julie?
I don't, that doesn't come from
Are you asking stormwater?
Yeah.
Stormwater, yes, sir.
Stormwater.
If I understand correctly.
Stormwater comes on your utility bill. So, and I'm thinking somebody paid the water bill and the heat, and they didn't pay the storm, or how is it?
Is a stormwater only charge. No one was living in the
Nobody was
house, the
living there,
meters removed, no trash, it was stormwater only. If I understand correctly, the time which he's talking about, it's $164.61.
We've never had that come up before, have we, Lord?
Not that I
I'm not going to promote or discourage you from going either way. That'd be your decision, understanding that there are a lot of properties in town under similar conditions.
That are gonna be coming up
Yeah,
in a
and
recent sale, or a sale here shortly And the issue's gonna be for you anyway.
It's
gonna pop up.
be reoccurring, and these fees is what pays for the major improvements we have, such as 21st.
I'm curious though, how do you get that bill if there's no water bill? How do you get that bill? Do you just get a bill
You
with
you
just
get a bill
stormwater?
with $5.15
And who do you address that bill to?
to the owner.
In this case, there was no.
There was no owner, so that's why there are liens on the property, so the next person, when they buy it, they know those liens are on there, and they would accept those liens along with the purchase.
And just to bring this up, the $5 a month, really, it wouldn't add up to much.
And he's been paying that regularly.
Since I own my
Since he's
property,
owned it.
But the $5 a month wouldn't add up to too much, but every 5 months, I believe, they turn it into a lien.
Yeah.
So a $25 bill gets a $40 charge.
Yeah. Which is what everybody charges Connors Utilities to record it, publish it, so forth.
You see what I'm saying, but it's almost well,
So,
it'd be a bank, it'd be a
in-
predatory loan.
In the interim period between the time the people left and the year you had to wait to get a clear title to it,
The money was, and I think some of that was actually paid when I paid the tax bills at the tax sale.
I didn't look at
You
it.
see what I'm
how
saying?
much
Some
is,
of that,
how much is the total bill today?
164.61.
64.60.
How come if it's $5 a month, he had it for 12 a year, you couldn't take possession, is that right?
Right, he can't take possession according to
Can't
the
even enter
rules.
Can't even get on it.
I know, but
And,
should it just be 6?
And, we know, we don't have any idea who owns it other than the last person in our records. So we send it to that, it's not paid, so we put a lien on the property.
And then it's automatically paid by the person that is successful in the tax sale?
makes sense.
Or
Well, it's placed on there, then it's up to the individual to either pay it or some governing body telling he doesn't have to.
I see.
At the time of the tax sale, how is it presented, how are the properties presented? That you are responsible for paying the taxes and any liens against it?
That's what I was gonna
Is it
ask.
given?
I'm not there, I really couldn't tell you how,
mean,
what
if
the
it's-
rules of the tax sale are. I really can't say. I know I had to pay that $1,200, which is whatever the tax bill was due on the property at the time. But I don't know how much of your water bill was included in that.
I mean, if it's a lien against it, you have to pay everything at a tax sale, I believe.
This probably was put on after the actual tax sale.
So it's
Yes,
Between
but I
the
don't see
time
how
of
it
the
got to be
redemption period was
160
over.
either, but-
You can't take
Plus the
possession
40,
for 12
plus the
months.
40, okay.
Right.
Wait a year to get it.
Well, an example is, we had $34.02 of actual bill. And then you've got, the delinquent costs, and then the, treasurer charges us, $10, then the recording is $11, and then, releasing, once he pays, or someone pays, the releasing is $12, then there's a certification fee of $15. All those things we pay because we've gone through 3 months, no one's paid, or 5 months possibly, no one's paid.
Well,
It's all the paperwork to
If
handle.
I bought something at a tax sale and wasn't sure whether I was even gonna get it for a year, I certainly wouldn't pay the water runoff the $5.15. I don't think anybody would, until you were certain you were gonna get it. Then it's too late, because you've already made the offer to buy it at the tax sale. I guess we could consider that as part of a cheap way of getting a piece of property, or we could consider
Well,
that it's not really your responsibility. So those are the two things. Ronnie, I hear Jane here, what do you say?
Well, those are fixed charges that the courthouse charges us to file those liens, and I think it's just it's just common ground that they go through that we have to pay. I would be, the $5 a month is kind of irrelevant, I think. It's not the board's fault that the liens get charged to us, somebody's gotta pay those liens. I would probably, be pretty happy, and if he pays the legal end of it, it's to forfeit the $5 a month, is what I would say. Cause yes, it wasn't his property per se, but then we have to, it's protocol on the liens, you might say. And that's still tax dollars,
and
somebody's
again,
paying.
this is something that the board might wanna consider a little bit, because it's gonna come up if they sell these houses. That's the commissioner.
Well, and that's another thing we have to be careful of, because I think there was a bunch of these in the paper last week, and we're gonna be hit with these several times
There's gonna be
probably.
an avalanche
So we
of
wanna
these
be
things coming in
real
here.
careful what we do here.
Well, I think the answer to it is when there's nobody living in the house, and they don't have any water on, we shouldn't be charging and putting these liens on because we're not gonna collect them.
Then
It's
you need
not
to
a
change
lot.
the ordinance then.
Yeah.
It says each parcel pays the ERU of
But it
$5.50.
takes a person, not a parcel, to pay the bill.
But that's not the way
Right,
the
but-
ordinance reads.
Yeah.
But during that year's period, it's the same with grass cutting, it's in limbo, you can't do anything with it.
And again, I'm not encouraging or discouraging your decision. I'm just telling you, this is what we work with. He has, since ownership, has paid
How
that
long's that been, how long's he owned it?
October of last year, was it? October.
Yeah, October last year, I took possession of this, and I own the one, I think,
Well,
right next to it too.
Mr. Moore, would it be fair if we take off the 515 lien and you pay the legal fee, would that be fair to you?
Anything's fair to me, but, you know, it's a matter that it's gonna keep coming up to board.
We'll have to work on fixing
Yeah.
that, but today's
If you're
problem
putting
is to get
liens
yours
on a
fixed.
property that's already an abandoned property, you're not gonna get your money. Yeah, and it's just making it harder to do something with the properties that you do have in town that may not be.
And that's the reason for liens. We either don't know who owns it, or they're not paying, so the lien goes on the property, so when it is purchased, that's when the liens are paid. But, again, your choice.
It's more legal expense than fees. It
You know,
really is.
we've ran into this several times, on the Everton sewer too. A lot of times the bill is pretty minimal, but the filing fees and so on are usually
So it's
many
the
times more
mandate-
than the
He's
bill.
mandated to file the liens against it.
Yeah.
Dave, I
And-
wonder if the treasurer's office could send you a list of all the properties in the city when they're sold at tax sale, could we then hold those, charges? Or not hold, I mean, still send the bill out, but not put the liens on for that year while the property's in limbo? Are we mandated to
No,
put the liens
it's an
on every so
ordinance.
often?
It's an ordinance that we
Yeah,
have to.
if we're told not to send a bill to somebody, we would do that. We'd
I don't
pay
mean,
it.
not
and-
even
or-
not send a bill,
Right.
but just not put the lien on,
Yeah.
so you wouldn't have all the extra
Right,
charges.
there's just a lot of.
And so then what do I do with that owed money at the end of that term?
We would have to take it against that property and keep a record of it in our own office, so whoever took the property, we can say, you owe 515 for 10 months, because that's part of you getting this property. But the liens, you know, we don't have to put liens on. We do that because the ordinance says we can. We don't have to, we put liens on the grass and all the rest of that stuff. Well, I make a motion that we drop the 515 a month that he owes, and he's responsible for the legal fee. Only because I think that's fair.
Well, I just wanted to see something done.
Because see,
because-
the liens, we gotta pay for, and that would be making a taxpayer pay to help you get the property.
I understand that, I'm just trying to get,
And that is the 515 plus any late fees and so forth, all those things.
All the utility charges,
All
all the
utility,
charges
good
to
way
the
to say it.
Not
utilities.
the legal
Okay.
fees.
Understanding that this is 164, but you may come with hundreds.
Well, we're gonna have to look at it, we're gonna have to make a correction.
I
I
think
don't
we
know if
have to
that's
be
right or
off,
wrong, is there a second to my motion or not?
Mayor, I think we have to be awful careful here that we're not gonna set a precedent.
No, we got this situation today, we need to take care of it, then we need to fix it.
I think you need to, add into the motion that each case will look at independently.
Exactly.
Well, I intend to fix it, we can fix it right there at the office, we can just not send these out for liens.
Again, understanding that's our revenue, and
Yeah.
so.
The German would get it anyway on a tax sale, there's no point in sending it.
You'll still get the
Well, we would if
revenue.
you told him he had to, and we won't if you tell him he doesn't.
Now, you'll still get the revenue, you'll still get the monthly sewer charge
For now on.
from now on. Right, but we are trying to avoid those legal fees charges.
What does that mean
So
he'll
we don't
pay?
have to pass those on to
Your
the
motion.
trustees.
He'll
That's
pay,
not
he'll
money
pay
we're
what he was
buying.
obligated to,
saying
$515 a month.
He pays the legal fees, but we
No,
don't
he's
get any
paying
money
the-
No,
for
we'll
this.
pay, we'll drop that and
Right.
he'll pay the legal
So
fees.
you're
So
talking
we're
about
dropping
switching
around
it.
$60.
Yeah, maybe a
Well,
little more.
he pays
Is
the
that
legal
right?
fees.
More than that.
It's more than that.
It'd be about 100 will drop it.
Yeah.
He's gonna pay the legal fees, is that?
He's gonna pay the legal fees.
Well, and then when we go over there and tell them to remove that, then there's gonna, is it $10?
There's another, $12 to release the
Yeah,
lien.
to release a lien, that's exactly right.
That's what they charge us.
Mr. Baker, will we pass an ordinance to be retroactive, or will that affect things that are already in the works, in the process?
We can amend existing ordinances.
Mr. Baker, I don't think we have to amend it, we just make a policy over there. When a house is been up for tax sale, don't send a bill for, don't file liens
Don't
against
file a
it.
lien, that's
Don't
your
file a lien.
point. which is
Hold
a-
on to it until it's sold and then charge the people the $5.15 a month.
That certainly could be done. It's just a matter of internally.
Yeah.
That way they
handling
still
it.
get their revenue.
Then they
That's
won't need
probably
it.
benefiting the
Yeah.
people who may
Right.
go and do something with one of these properties.
No way, utility still gets the revenue.
So if you'll write, if you approve this, then write a policy so that we can follow.
We also need to give a policy to the county, telling the county that when they sell a piece of property at tax sale, they need to, on that sheet, that statement that they give you, it should list that you will be responsible for the water runoff or the stormwater because it's mandated.
Well, in the county, there is no stormwater.
No, but they're the ones that file
Yeah.
liens for
We
us.
have to let
In
the
county
county see
okay.
it.
That's the legal end,
Okay.
yeah.
The county offices of it, okay.
That should be made clear when they do the tax sale. Just like they make it clear on the property taxes, he has to pay up the property taxes, you have to pay the stormwater fee. But why would we file it when we know nobody's gonna pay it?
How come we haven't seen this before, Mayor? I don't
Well, we're
understand.
just getting into more and more empty houses.
Well,
that
I
what it
create the
is?
sale, all liens and encumbrances that are put on by governmental entities are collectible. And they're made subject to that. All liens, and many people do a title search just to see what's out
See
there.
what those liens are.
Yeah.
Well, I think too that it's this 12-month period that they fall into on this particular type of sale, isn't that not right, Julie? So all tax sales aren't the same, and this, when they can't take possession for 12 months, the property's just there in limbo.
Well, they've changed the law on that. You can go on the property now and mow and do things like that.
No, I think they've changed it again too, I think they're making it like 3 months.
Really?
I just got a notice this morning, a new bill is gonna be promulgated in July. but I'm not
Oh,
sure.
make it, yeah, you can go.
But anyway, it's not your fault at this time.
Sooner.
Is there a second to my motion or not?
I'm confused, what is the
The
motion?
motion is that he pays the $5.15 a month for the months that he's owned it, and he pays the legal fees. The filing.
So you just said he
That's
pays
how
$5.15 and he pays the legal
Yeah.
fees.
Big
Are we
league.
waiving the $5.15?
We're waiving the $5.15 a month.
No,
Then that's exactly
Well, yeah.
what you want the ordinance to reach, you know.
We need to get the language changed to what Ronnie said.
Yeah.
You wanna pay the,
Well, I think the
I think
the
we
basic,
wanna waive the
the
fees.
basic motion is the same. I would just like to set a precedence. I'd like to see each case individually, because we could run into several dollars, like Mr. Nutty said. I mean, this one's $60 or whatever for the $5 a month, but we could get into several $100s on some of them if they.
fees associated.
So the fees are pretty set. We know that the recording's gonna be this, the lien's gonna be a certain amount. It's the actual fee for the stormwater itself
Exactly.
that will change. They should.
Or
you
the
have
other
to pay
generated
that, and
utilities
we should
or whatever.
waive the legal fee and
I've got it
change the
backwards.
ordinance, yes.
So do I understand the
You get your
spirit
fee.
of this discussion is that the purchaser will pay for the legal fees, Connersville Utilities would,
No,
Opposite.
No.
down the road, what we're gonna try to do is not file any legal fees or file any liens. We're just gonna keep it recorded in our office. So when the person takes that, he would just pay the $5.15 a month for the number of months that, after he got it. It's one of the benefits of buying it cheap at a tax sale, but you gotta go back and pay those months. If it's 6 months, 10 months, 12 months, 24 months, whatever it is.
and what do we do between then and the time which we have a policy to tell us that?
We can establish a policy this afternoon.
Okay, good.
She
So
can
he will
call
pay
it.
the fee
Now,
owed to.
my motion is
It was
backwards, so
Mhm.
the motion dies for lack of a second. You might wanna make another motion.
You're gonna make a
You gonna do
motion,
it?
Ron gonna make a motion, I don't know.
I think what we're trying to do is we'll say that he pays the fee and the legal fees, will drop.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to say.
Right.
I'm sorry I
That,
got
that
it.
seems
That's-
really fair to me.
that's
I don't,
right.
you know, the $5 a month, like I said, it don't add up to nothing, it's just,
And that's what you
$40
encumbered, you own the property, that is your bill.
Yeah.
The legal fees will, wait, yes.
Dave, will you give me
You wanna make that
some
motion?
figures on that?
Okay, in the, you wanna
Of
make it
the current
specific
one
to
here?
Mr. Moore at this
I have
time?
copies of that.
What's he going to pay again? How much?
In the case of, I moved in the case of Mr. Moore's property at 506 West Fifth. that he pays the fees incurred for that 12 months for stormwater, and that we waive the actual legal fees that were incurred by putting a lien against the property in that 12 months.
Does the legal fee, excuse me, Jane, but does the legal fee get incorporated in with this
Yes,
stormwater
Yes.
totally?
that is included in that
Okay.
amount.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
So
agree with you, yeah.
we're splitting it out, okay.
She's got it right now.
Okay.
So there's about $48 in actual legal fees that we're paying.
Yeah, he'll pay the rest.
Does that include the fees from the auditor's office?
Yeah,
For-
it's, yes, Fayette County Treasurer, no, it's the
Okay.
auditor.
Do I have a second?
I'll have to show you that.
Oh, that's fine.
Do I have a second?
Come on, guys.
I'll second it, but I'm still not clear on it, but I just don't make
Okay,
sure we
got
don't
a
set a
motion and a second.
precedent.
Now, what aren't you clear on?
I just don't wanna set a precedent here that everybody comes in
We're
that's
not.
got
No,
this.
we're not.
Mike, here's the deal. This man bought the property, he had to wait a year before it could become his.
I understand that.
There was
Say
$5.15 a
$60
month
something,
during
then
that
it's
period
12 times
that he should be
5.15.
responsible for.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
But
when
we
it started,
filed
that's when I
all
said, no,
these
pay the 100
liens,
and-
the utility did. And what we're saying, we're gonna run into this time after time
Yeah.
because we got some empty houses. This guy isn't really responsible for those legal fees because he couldn't pay it. He didn't own it. Okay? But what we need to do is fix it in the future, that when we have an empty property, and we know there's no water bill on it, but there's still stormwater, that in the office, we keep track of that property at 618 18th Street, and we keep track of it every month at 515. And then, when you take one of those houses, and before you get a clear title, you come in and pay the 515 for all remaining months, which will be 12, because that's what the rule is, 12.
Yeah, okay.
And you have to pay that. But why stack up all those legal fees against it when we know the poor guy can't
I
pay
agree.
it?
Yeah, he
Is that what you're
purchased
saying?
it-
Yes, that's exactly, that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
He purchased the property October 12, but he could not take possession until October 13. October 13 is when he came in and told us he now has ownership. If we knew back in October 12 to not start doing that, that'd be great, but we just don't get that
So
information.
is that gonna become effective today,
Well,
what you're
but
talking
you
about?
do have that information, because when there's no water bill there, you should have known there's nobody there.
But they don't know that it's been sold at tax
Yeah,
sale.
right,
That's
we
the
don't,
issue.
we don't know that it
Then you
is
make a call
empty,
from your
empty
office.
temporarily, or,
No, I'd ask the county
Whoever
County
handles the
auditor.
tax sale should tell the
to
people.
give you a list of all the properties that are sold at tax sale. That way you could,
Okay, we have a motion on the floor.
I second it, Mayor, I
You got a
understand.
second?
So he's paying $61.80, is that what it amounts to?
He's paying.
12
all the fees.
times 515?
No, he's paying all the legal fees, and we're gonna pay the 12 times.
No.
Oh, there you go.
I got it backwards.
He's got it backwards again. He's paying the stormwater fees that he incurred,
You're right, that's the
and
motion.
we're waiving the legal fees. And we-
Right,
it will
so he's paying
change the ordinance.
$61.80, I guess, isn't he,
Yes.
David?
Yeah,
12 times
Yeah.
515?
Yeah.
yeah, that's what he owes, that's what he should
Let's
have.
vote and get this over with.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank
Motion
you,
carried.
Mr. Moore, for your
so
service.
that, until there is a policy, we pay the legal fees, right?
No, there is no set precedent, remember?
But, I mean, right now, we've got those, we've already got those legal fees, we've got,
Well, just on him. This is one case, just him.
okay.
That, Jane made that very clear on this case,
On
Mr.
this
Moore, it
case.
says in the motion.
And then we're gonna
On this
review it.
case.
All right, thanks. Okay, thanks.
I'm
Thank you,
sorry,
sir.
Mr. Moore.
Sorry.
You're welcome, thank you.
Sometimes that my hard drive's full.
It's okay, we got it done. Well, somewhat. It's all you now.
Request for bucket drive, April 26th, homeless shelter, Ken Fuller, I just saw it. Ken Fuller? I swear I saw him.
Take
it away.
I haven't seen him. Oh, there he is.
There he is. I'm really losing today, I thought I saw you.
Sorry.
Go ahead,
What locations do you
Yeah.
want,
Sorry.
Ken?
go ahead.
I was just wanting, for the Bev Joe Home of Love, the homeless shelter, we could do a boot drive this Saturday. We could do 5th and Central and 5th and Grand, if possible.
Fifth or sixth?
6, you mean?
6th, I mean, yeah, where we've been,
Okay.
Are the dates open, Melissa?
we're just, funds are really bad and we're just needing to do something to keep driving. We got a full house.
I make a motion to accept this boot drive or bucket drive for the homeless shelter from Mr. Flora.
Is there a second?
I'll say.
Motion and a second to allow this boot drive for the 5th and 6th, or excuse me, 5th and Central and 6th and Central, 60 grand.
Six,
Is it us?
60 grand.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Request,
Thank you.
You know to
You're
get your
welcome,
stuff at the city garage.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
who's representing Jewel?
Yes.
We got a like request for June 13th and 14th, I presume the same streets.
Yes, this is for the high school dance team, the
I think
Spartanettes.
You've done that each year, haven't you?
I'm sorry?
You've done that
Yes.
before.
Yes, I've done it actually for 9 years, so with my kids, so I've done this for 9 years.
It must be successful, you keep doing it.
Well, this is really the first time the Spartanettes have done. I've done it for the dance team that when they win honors, they move on. But we have to raise $5,700 this year for shoes and, because the shoes only last a couple of years. They're dancing everywhere and they're getting sweat outfits so they can wear them like at the football games, like at the Coach Bowl, because right now what they have is warm enough, so we have some new items that we need. And we do not get any financial aid from the high school. So we have to raise this money or pay it ourselves. And I have 2 daughters and it gets really expensive, so there are 21 girls. So that's what we would like to do on both those days. I've already talked to Mike and he's gonna take care of getting us the cones and the vest and stuff. Mike Bottomley. His daughter was a Spartanette, so he's kinda done this for years as well, so.
How
That's
come the
what we're
school
requesting.
didn't, how come the school didn't give you any aid?
I don't know, you would have to ask them, we request and we're denied, so I do not know.
They're like
that.
us, they
But
don't
I just
have
wanted people to know, like, you know, other programs do get money, yeah, but we do not. So it's not like the school gives us money, we keep asking for more and more. But they, I guess we're just not in their budget,
I see.
so.
What's your pleasure, Board?
I move we approve the boot drive for Spartanettes on June 13th and 14th for 6th and Grand, 6th and Central.
Second, please.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you very much.
Request for a bucket drive for the Rotary on June the 7th, Bob Stuckey.
We got one day on the calendar.
Well, I represent the Rotary Club of Connersville. For about 5 years now, we've had a boot drive for Riley Hospital. It's one of our pet charities we support. This year, we'd like to have it on June the 7th, the first Saturday in June at 6th and Central. And if 24th and Grand is gonna still be open, Mayor, is it will be closed?
It'll be open, but it's a mess up there. It's not a good place to have a boot drive.
Well, if it is closed, we'd like to go to 6th and Grand instead of 24th
We
and
haven't
Grand.
been giving people to go.
Yeah, I
because of
understand.
Big equipment going back and forth around.
You know, Riley Hospital, if, we all have problems, but if any of you been up to Riley Hospital and see some of these kids hooked up with tubes and stuff, and some of them never get out of there, it makes you feel what you have. A little side thing, I didn't realize that Betty Jones, who's our deputy prosecutor, she was one of our speakers at a Rotary this past year, and she was a Riley baby. Matter of fact, her mother and father said, they said there was nothing you can do, just leave her here. So she's turned out pretty good, I think, but we'd like to have a bucket drive for Riley that day, if possible, please.
Okay, I'll make the motion that we allow the Rotary Club to have a bucket drive on June 7th.
Second. Sorry, Dave.
No, it's okay, you got it.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Little autism awareness walk on May the 31st. Jennifer Alfarano. Did I pronounce that right? Alfarano. I almost got it right.
I want to have a walk to support autism awareness.
Where are you from?
I live here in town.
Okay.
I'm originally from California,
But
though.
who do you represent? The awareness?
Myself, I have an autistic child. I have other families that have autism. I work with Maplewood School. They have a lot of autism. We have not very many services here in town. So I would just like to raise awareness, and hopefully maybe in the future that could get our community involved in helping some of these families that have autism that affects their lives.
So do you work with an autism awareness group or?
I homeschool my 5 children. My 9-year-old is severely autistic. He does not fare well in the public school system.
So this is just strictly an awareness
Just
thing
an
on your
awareness
behalf.
walk.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make money for us, but I do want to have a bucket drive on May 23rd and 24th on 6th and Grand and 6th and Central provide water bottles for the walkers and whatnot.
And you
Is
said,
it?
in my paper, it says May 5th and 23rd.
Oh, then you're right, that is the right one.
On May the
No,
third, when
you're
you
on
May
the wrong one.
31st,
you're
I
on the
got
wrong
it.
one.
You're on the wrong one, man.
you wanna have a walk, you wanna have a
May
walk,
31st.
Backwards?
you wanna have a walk? Where do you
In
want?
Roberts Park,
Oh, okay.
I made a flyer so I can hang in the local businesses.
Mike, do you, are you aware of this?
No, but, I see the flyer, so I called the office and, everything's booked. There's a 5K run that same day,
Is there?
and all the shelters and buildings all rented on the 31st. So I don't know if something, we need to come to the office and then we can find a better
Someplace
date.
else to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, would you approve a walk if I got all my dates and times together?
Sure, Baker, can
Clark
we,
usually approves it.
And as long as
I
we're
would
not,
say she needs to come back with a new date and time.
Well, I'm concerned that
should it be?
we should have an organization or something that handles the money. It should be a non-for-profit organization.
There's
I
no
don't think
money
we
in
can start granting individuals their own cause to do things and not know where the money's going. I don't think that's fair to our
On,
taxpayers.
on the agenda, you're merely asking for a walk.
Yeah.
You didn't include the boot drive, so we can't approve a boot drive or any fundraising, but maybe a walk.
Are you gonna charge for the walk?
No, registration is gonna be free. We are just
How are you
promoting.
gonna make money then?
We're not looking to make
This
any
is just
money. I
awareness.
just
It's
wanna
just-
raise
just
awareness in our
awareness.
community
Okay.
about
Media
autism.
blitz.
Okay.
There's a lot of children and adults in our community that are autistic that nobody knows about.
I think it's good.
So you're going to work with
I would
us?
advise her to come to the park and look
Yeah,
over
it's-
dates
Find a
before
date.
we.
Yeah, before we
maybe,
approve
maybe
it.
get another date or something and work on the
Is
date.
that okay? Give
That's
me
fine.
Yeah, we meet
That's
in
fine.
we meet in 2 more weeks, you can get with me.
We'll
We'll
just,
be glad to work with you if you can get it coordinated with, find a date,
Okay.
and we'll go from there.
And what you were saying, if I needed somebody of authority, would my pastor work?
yeah, through a church or something,
Through
but you
a
don't
church
need it for a walk. I
organization.
thought you were going for a bucket drive, but you're going for a walk.
No, but in our, I'm new at this, so I am gonna need just funds just to provide water bottles for the walkers.
You
So
need
if,
sponsorship of some sort.
Yeah.
okay,
So you'll need the bucket drive before the walk, right?
No, if you get a sponsor for the water, you
yeah,
get a
I'm
grocery
sure our
store or
church will
Maybe
work
you
with
can work
us
that through
on
your
this,
pastor
yes.
at your church,
Yeah.
and then you get just straightened out with Mike and come back and see us, okay?
Thank you, and when is your next meeting again?
in 2
First
weeks.
Monday in May.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, request for a banner of summer discovery. Mike, is that you?
Yep. Here we're just requesting a banner for summer discovery from May 5th to 23rd, advertising that we're taking sign-ups at the park.
That's our own program. I think that's a good idea.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. We need to, yeah, advertise our own program.
I make a motion to accept this request for the banner for summer discovery for Mike Bottomley. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, Mike.
Okay.
You got anything else while you're here?
The Regent Street,
Okay.
facility agreement.
You don't have it in your packet. I
Yeah.
put it
Yeah,
out
we
here.
do. We have it.
Well, after some discussion, I think we came up with an agreement with Regent Street and the park. It's the same facility agreement that we've used for years, but we did add a few things to it. They're going to run their own T-ball leagues, and we're gonna run our own. We're gonna run U10 girls softball, and they're gonna run the older girls softball. So that's what this agreement is all about.
So using the same facility?
They're gonna use the girls' fast pitch field, and we're gonna use the other field.
We had a committee appointed, Jane and Ron, I believe, and met with the boys club and worked things out. Do you two have anything you'd like to add to it?
No, I think it was a good discussion, and all parties were satisfied at the end, and I think it's good for everybody the way it was finalized. Yes.
Ron, did you have any further things to add to it?
No, actually, we've talked to both parties too, and both are mutually agreement to this, as long as it's approved by the Board of Works.
Regent Street has already signed this copy, so they've read it and okayed
It's a
it.
one-year agreement, right?
Yes, year to year, 1 year agreement.
Take a motion.
I move we approve the facilities usage agreement with Green Tree Community Youth Center for T-bone softball for this year, ending October 30th.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. You got that all signed, right? Give it back to you.
Just put it with our other stuff.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
Okay, this I came up with, in the past, whenever we've built buildings or whenever we've had to do anything, I usually go with the county commissioners or Mr. Bottomley if it's in the park, and the county has always been good to waive the fees for building permits and, in other words, taxpayers charging taxpayers. So, President of the county commissioners came and asked if we would waive the fee of hooking up to the sewer when they build their new highway garage. I told him I couldn't give them permission, but I take it the board works. I highly recommend it to it. I don't think, as I said, one taxpayer should be paying another tax, or another taxing unit. So,
Were they hooked up now to our sewer?
no, they're gonna hook up when they build a new garage.
Okay, not hooked up now.
Yeah. I think on the septic system.
And they will be paying sewer fees after that.
They'll pay the fee, just like everybody
How,
else.
how far is that, Mayor, where they have to go to hook onto us to pick us up, pick it up?
It's not the distance they have to go, it's they're paying for that. We're just waiving the fee to hook to the sewer.
It's
a
down
tap
one
fee.
twenty-one.
I understand that.
Tap.
Okay.
Sewer's
Tap fee.
down one
Yeah.
twenty-one.
What is that tap fee, Mary? You
That's
know?
what I was asking.
I'm not sure.
7?
It's $1,100, then typically an inspection fee and a deposit. So they'll still pay the deposit, but if approved, they will pay the fees.
The $1,100 includes the deposit?
No,
Oh,
the $1,100 is the tap connect fee. And then there's typically $11 inspection fee, which if approved will be waived also.
So you got any idea what the total number is?
11.
1,100.
1,100 and then,
The
11.
11 those fees, and then they will pay a $85 deposit.
so $2,300 ballpark.
Well, we're not waiving the
No.
deposit.
Yeah, no,
Wait,
wait.
wait a minute.
We're not hooking anything up, we're not paying for anything, we're just, the tap fee. is.
Mayor, I'd make a motion to waive the hookup fee for the county highway garage, new garage building.
I'll second.
Motion and second, is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Awarding the bids for the big product that we got. I didn't want to take that.
Florida, you're not gonna throw that in.
Rechlorination,
Right.
bioremediation process.
We need a interpreter, man. What is
He's
that,
having enough
interpreter?
trouble without having to say that today.
That's what we're buying today.
Vegetable oil.
This was been in Chinese.
Yeah, need another pages to get the,
Right, so I prepared a brief memo that has a summary of our evaluation and our recommendation, as well as kind of a table that provides kind of a side-by-side comparison of those numbers. I guess, how would you like me to present it? Do you have the information you need, or?
Just tell us what one you want.
bottom line, yeah.
All right.
We already went through this last.
Yeah. So our evaluation ended up selecting products from 2 different vendors. Again, the 2 types of products we were seeking bids for was a fast release substrate and a quick release substrate. An analogy of those would be the difference between us eating a candy bar versus us eating a steak. One of them acts very, very quickly in the subsurface. Bacteria are able to readily use it and get power from it. The other lasts a very long time, takes a bit more energy to degrade and will sustain bacteria for a longer period. So those are the 2 types of products. We had each vendor give us a bid for their products that they have that were like those. And we did write the request for quote in such a manner that we left the possibility open that we wouldn't necessarily give the entire bid to one vendor. So the result was we recommend selection of Terra Systems for their 60% SRS product. That would be the emulsified vegetable oil, the long-lasting product. and then selection of the EOS remediation, EOS QR product, that's the quick release product, so. So at the bottom of that table, so at the very top is quantities that we estimated based on what we've seen. The middle rows, from RNAS to EOS, those are basically quotes and just our analysis of the numbers. And the very bottom row in blue is our recommendation of the 60% SRS, and then also the EOS QR product. So applying their unit cost to the quantity that we estimated we were going to use this year ends up in a total cost of $186,000. That combination of products was about the most cost-effective we could find, or we were able to develop using the various products.
So could you read, it's 184,610 for one, 11,512 for the other, is that what you're saying?
Page 3 doesn't
On the
do it,
second page?
two.
Third page.
What's the second
Yeah,
page? What's that?
196, 128, 196, 122.
On the second page, at the total, it says 196, is that the, well, second page?
Oh, we have a page you don't have.
Yeah.
Your memo.
The second page of that.
The difference, I think, is shipping cost or something there, looks like.
Estimated shipping.
I don't see that.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, you are correct. The memo and the table don't match precisely because I estimated the shipping based on what it would actually take, and it's hard to roll that in.
But the total price is 196,112, 122, right?
Right. Yeah, based on our preliminary estimation on the product we would use this year.
Well, because this is bids, we need to know that figure, so that's the figure we'll approve, right?
That's the maximum figure.
Well, what I was gonna request from the board is that we, based on these unit costs, so we established our budget 4 years ago for what we were gonna be doing in the future, so we had to make a lot of assumptions in that. We have a budget, this year for our total amount of donor that we were gonna purchase. It's significantly more than what these are. With that in mind, we may like to add additional product in the ground to try to get a greater treatment.
Is that gonna be more money?
It will absolutely be more money, yeah. So,
It's illegal to bid and then add to the bid.
That's what I'm
So
going.
if we bid this, you're gonna bid 196, you got two different companies, one's getting 11,512, the other one's getting 184,610. Now then, if you wanna buy additional stuff, you need to come back to us, and we can probably buy that without a bid, because it's gonna be less than the bid money. Whether it's 150.
I don't, because we didn't bid this wasn't bid out as a project. This
I
was
thought
bid,
we opened bids.
we opened bids.
We did,
We
it's
did
true.
bids, but it wasn't bid as a project.
No.
It was bid for a product. And we don't ask for a product as, like, we're gonna buy X amount of gallons of it. We just ask how much it would be. Isn't that how we bid it?
Then we have to accept the unit price. Because-
right, yeah, so our primary, the primary submittals had unit prices, so dollars per pound.
Is that what these numbers are based on, Jim?
Yes, yeah, in the very first column, I'm sorry, the third column, it says cost and then dollars per pound of product, and they start off at 98 cents a pound, and at the very bottom are about 86 cents a pound. So those were the primary submittals. We allowed the vendors to say, all right, based on your dollar per pound, how much product would you recommend, and tell us what that would cost. Of course, I did that math myself as well to double check them, but their primary submittals were based on a cost per pound of product.
Okay, then you need to write us up a sheet that says cost per pound this much, and then we accept that.
It's
That
on
is on the
It's on
second
the bottom.
page. It's
Yeah.
the second
Second column from the,
You're going to the third page. The one
No,
you don't
I'm
have.
sorry, the second page of the memo.
Okay.
No, no.
Show me where that's all.
Back up on the page. Okay,
Right
and now,
there.
right there.
Okay, then that's what we need to go on. So we're bidding the SRS SD at $1.05 a pound,
Correct?
and the EOS QR as 86 cents a pound.
Correct.
Okay, and were those the lowest prices of the bids?
Yes.
They were absolutely the lowest. And I'm not questioning you. I
Yeah,
just
no,
know.
and it gets to what our discussion was when we opened these. It's, these things can't directly be compared apples to apples, so I can't say.
But the law says we have to take the best bid for this city. And
Right.
you have met, and you think the best bid for this city is $1.05 for SRS and 86 cents for
For the
EOS
products.
Correct.
in those products.
That is correct.
Okay.
That's
These-
what
The
we're asking.
estimated
These
amount,
provide, these two products, in our opinion, provide the best value to the
and
city.
the estimated amount that we're gonna use will be $196,122. That's estimated, but these are the actual prices.
Correct, yep.
You get in big trouble if you bid something and then you add to it
Sure.
later.
I
That's the
understand.
biggest problem you get into. So we're bidding $1.05 and 86 cents.
And that's what we ask you to do to find the lowest, best cost, correct?
Yes, yep, and not only is this evaluation based on dollars, but it's also based on how we think the products are gonna serve the remediation project.
And in this memo, are you telling us that?
Yes.
And yeah. Okay, I know you're a scientist,
Sure.
and you say
No, I
all this in
understand.
scientific things. I'm worried about being audited by the state board.
And it says
So,
it provides the lowest.
I'd
price.
like to see a memo saying that after reviewing these bids, these 2 pound prices were the best and lowest, and you recommend the city of Connersville to accept them. If I could have a memo like that, I would like that.
Well, Mayor, I believe.
That's what it says.
I believe
That's what it says,
that-
That's what it
I
says.
believe
That's
the
what
memo
this
does say that.
The total cost for these products. The bid request is as follows.
In the paragraph above that.
I'm reading that, but it doesn't, okay, it doesn't actually say the dollar, but I guess that's okay.
The paragraph above that, it does say that.
Yeah, it is up there, it is.
Mhm.
He's covered.
Okay, I think we're
Yep.
okay.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the bids from Terra Systems SRS SD, the product for the slow release at $1.05 a pound, and the EOS QR at 86 cents per pound.
I'll second that, please.
Got a motion and a second to accept the lowest and best bid for the city of Connersville. As stated in the motion, 2 years. Is there any additional discussion?
No, I'd just like to know where the money comes from again.
This comes out of the loan from the brownfields.
Okay.
And as he said, it is lower than our estimated cost.
Right, yep.
And
yep.
how much lower?
I think we, in our budget for this year, if my memory serves me, I believe we had $275,000 for donor this year.
This will be injected at the biobarrier on Waterloo Road.
At the airport and
At
at
Waterloo
Waterloo,
Road.
yeah.
When are you gonna inject that? The temperature's warm enough now.
Yeah, it is. I believe we're going to be doing the airport probably mid-July, and then Waterloo Road probably in the fall, September or October.
Dave, you started to allude to maybe an accelerated process or something. Do you want to share any more with that, or you just mentioned to it a while ago and we kind of cut you off on these costs?
Today I mentioned it.
Well, it's,
He was talking about the product.
yeah, adding more product or something at another time.
Yeah, so what we may do, if we decide it's beneficial, is we may add more of that fast release substrate, because that's something that readily goes into water, dissolves in water, and it moves very quickly. It will move very quickly with the water to try to get treatment a little bit further down gradient than where we're actually injecting the stuff. So,
What will determine whether you do that or not?
just a little bit more in-depth look at our groundwater results. We're going out there in May to do another round of sampling, so it'll be dictated by that, and then we'll also, you know, compare that to some of the groundwater flow velocities that we've estimated, like how quickly stuff is moving, and if it's changing, how quickly it's changing. So.
Okay.
We get those reports of every 6 months you come in and report to Julie and I.
No,
Every once a year.
usually once a year, yeah.
Okay,
So.
and it's been 6 months since we've talked to you about that.
Yeah, it was probably about a year ago. Yeah, you might be right.
Can't be a year.
It's
I was thinking it was in the fall.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess we did do a meeting in the fall with. I think
And anyway, it might be a good idea if sometime you guys, if we could call an executive session or something, or really it could be just a regular session because there's nothing to hide.
No, absolutely not. I mean, everything is public knowledge.
It
So.
might be a good idea because when you see that report, you can kind of understand what it's doing out there.
Compare apples to apples.
Would like that.
So yeah, I mean, well, I guess it has to be during the session.
Now, we could just call a special meeting just for that, and we could do it, and, you know, the press can be there, or anybody else who wants to be there.
Yeah, I mean, during one of our presentations where we just give you an annual update.
It's bad because they don't get to see what we're seeing.
Sure.
The results of this underneath the floor, the results were great.
Yeah.
And now we're just doing the airport and,
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind when we're getting ready to do the.
have to have 48 hours notice so we can call a meeting, and we'll just call a meeting and let the whole board of works look at that, and really the council could come in if they wanted to and look at that. He
The
shows
more
you
the
slides and they show you where we're going and where we've come from.
I think we mentioned that once before, and then you kind of dropped.
I'll remind
I
us. We'll do
don't
it
think
this
we've
next
had
time.
another meeting with them since.
Oh,
We
okay.
got a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I commend you on this report. You just didn't put that together in 5 minutes. So thank you. very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you for
Appreciate
the translation.
All in
Appreciate
favor,
it.
say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Dave.
Betty.
Next two, we can take together resolution 2014, this is transfer in the redevelopment fund. Resolution 2014 is a transfer in the park, non-reverting funds, and the resolution 2014-16 is transferred city TV. Postage to travel. If you'd like, we could take all three of those same time.
Mayor, I would make a motion to accept the resolution 2014-14 through 2014-16 as written.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Approval of Reagan Street, we've already done that. Utilities.
Hello again. I have nothing major to report. Do want to mention to you about the Badger retrofits, the registers and transmitters that we are putting on the meters. We ordered 3,000, as you remember. We have less than 100 of those 3,000 remaining to be installed. The guys did a good job, got them in quick. That has reduced our reading time. And then with the previous approval, I have now ordered the whole units, the meter and transmitter, and they'll be coming mid-May.
Does part of that work, Dave, I'm getting kind of ahead of you here, but does part of that work tie in with this overtime for
Yes.
water? Okay. Thank you.
And when we looked at this, as you remember, it was gonna be like $35,000
Yes.
to have the company install them.
I remember.
So we allotted, I believe it's 2 hours a day overtime, and we're installing meters, and then some, 1 or 2 days, we have everybody that we can get on the job, and that's what it's allowed us. We now have more than half reading on the new
Good.
meters.
And
One more time, that's good.
eventually this will actually, with the overtime paid, it's gonna save money by having reduced staff for reading meters when needed. Be great this winter. So that's a good thing. I appreciate this board allowing that accelerated purchase so we can get this done. And doesn't look like I'll see it completed before I leave, but it's, everything will be purchased and here on the premises before I leave.
It's our goal to have this done by the end of the year.
and it certainly will. I expect by August, late August maybe. So,
Thank you, David. Old business, anybody have
Thank you
any
much.
Thank you,
old
Dave.
business? Fire chief just came in, you got old business? David, you got old business? Is anybody here that I've missed? Old business? Miscellaneous business, anybody have any miscellaneous business?
I do.
You do, okay.
Speak right up,
What?
Miss Judy.
I have, been contacted by Kelly Luke and the Historic Connersville. They usually, like to have a contract to have him do some restoration on tombstones. And we've done it for the last 3 or 4 years. We usually appropriate some money in the city cemetery for that. The contract's for $4,800. And I think he does like 35 tombstones. And he's got an insurance certificate with it, so.
Is there more money in that fund besides that?
Yes,
Cause I gotta fix that.
I've already
Mausoleum.
got that taken care
You got the mausoleum thing
of.
taken?
The mausoleum.
Yeah, it's,
No, I don't know anything about that.
okay, well, there's,
More than the fence and the trees.
yeah, yeah. I hate to say it on TV, there's some problems over there, we're worried about kids. And we're gonna have to get it fixed.
You wanna table this till later?
I don't
Needs to
know,
get
how
started
quick
on
do you have to have
Tuesday.
that approved?
Easy.
And if we
Can
don't approve it,
Can
we
we
can
wait
wait.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what's gonna take to fix that mausoleum.
Let's table that till next time and then find out what it's gonna take.
Make a motion
And
to
put them
that
both on the
effect.
floor, so make sure we have enough.
Okay. Will you make that formal motion?
I move that we table the, contract for tombstone restoration till the next meeting. And at that point, we also look at the mausoleum and what needs to be done there.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion that we, second that we table this, until we can find out where we are on the other problems we got over there. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, motion carried. Any other miscellaneous business? Anybody? Claims.
You want utilities first, Mayor, if I may?
Doesn't make any difference whether you want to do
Water was $54,225.93. Sewer, $97,920.97. Stormwater was $8,109.45 for a total of $160,256.35.
Okay, the city claims for 187, and the money 61,259.58, which is down quite a bit from the previous of $126, I believe. Financial emergency has been in effect for what, 5, 6 weeks,
Lower month, I think.
something like that, since early
6 weeks?
March.
Yeah, it's been 2 meetings ago, wasn't
It's money showing up.
it? Yeah.
Right, I'm wondering,
Do
Julie,
you have a figure on how much we cut back?
I don't know how much we got back. I know what our balances are today.
well, this is great for the claims. I mean, it makes me wonder.
Our general fund is at like 608,000 right now, which is, we've got a payroll yet to come out before the end of May. And our
Is
monthly
that
pay-
what's nice? Is there less time on this? Is there like 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
2 weeks is our norm,
Yeah.
that's our norm.
So that's what this is, 2 weeks? That's
The
good.
one before was 3 weeks.
That's the reason I asked, thank you, that's great.
What is the payroll? What is it?
It's several $100,000.
350, 400?
With the monthly.
But I mean, every payroll is about 350,000,
About 350, yeah.
and that's at least twice a month, sometimes 3.
Yeah.
Well, when it's 3, well, it overlaps the days, so.
But that happens how many times a year?
Usually twice.
Just
Yeah,
twice?
yeah, because there's 26 pays every year, so.
Okay. Yeah, I'm impressed with the claims. I hope everything else drops.
Overtime has dropped, I think you see that. in the
Yes.
picture.
Should be nil.
No, it's not nil.
Well, we tried to. It's not, you need to tell me where.
Well, there's gonna be a
You're
couple,
gonna
the
have
street
some
department,
exceptions.
we're gonna have a little bit because of the trash truck, I mean, that's
Well,
just.
we have to because we run on holidays, and if I want to say, we have to pay 8 hours a month each.
And on this last time too, we got that last snow, it's on there too, for our claims for the street department. We had that snow on the Sunday, the last of March. And that's
Was that on
time.
this payroll? One on one.
So that
She was
was
on the last one.
the last month.
Oh, it was on this report.
It shows up on this
Yeah.
report.
Well, you want last week's
He's
minutes?
got it here in the council.
He's
Yeah,
got it.
right here.
He's got it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Budget is
Back to
The party, but that Joe. Yeah, I just wanted to.
Okay,
This is that body.
KMS.
No, it would probably say park.
Oops, I got upside down.
And I still have-
You're like me, you're not functioning.
That's reasonable.
504 for those guys.
$504, Dale,
For,
overtime.
according to that,
Did you have any FLSA? Don't you always have
Mayor?
to have a little bit?
Just hold on there.
police department overtime.
Lisa's not in there.
There's gotta be some overlap, because
Well-
you're showing 3,500.
Now, you have to remember, because that's for March, and you didn't call the
Oh,
financial
yeah.
emergency
Yeah.
till the middle of March, so.
This is a month behind. These
Right.
reports are a month
Right,
behind. That ain't gonna do us any good.
right.
But the claims are down, as Fran has recognized, the claims are down.
But I've looked at the overtime, because they turn the payrolls in, and there's,
That's for March. so
if
you
it's
didn't-
there, it's minimal.
This is the early in March is what we're getting here, the overtime,
Yeah,
you
there
think?
was.
Yeah. Fire overtime was, but the fire department was down to about 186,000, which is a drop. Their overtime was, 2741.
We'll drop to nothing. Should-
And Julie, there's a longevity in overtime. Are we paying, what's that all about?
Longevity?
What it
We pay
says.
longevity, we pay fire and police, they get their longevity monthly.
Okay. It's not paid in December like most
No,
of it.
no, they get their, fire and police both get theirs monthly.
Give us 2 more months and we'll be able to look at it a little bit more.
Mayor, I'd make a motion to accept the claims as read.
We got a motion to accept the claims, both utility and city.
I'll second.
Any discussion? On the claims, both, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Public forum, anybody come here to discuss something, come to the, if you'll state your name, please, and Rachel, are you two together?
Yes, we are together. My name is Nicole Fraley, and this is my friend and colleague Charlene Gruyoski. And we're here today to request the board to hear a request to utilize a part of the courthouse parking lot. We are putting on the first annual Children's Festival to prevent child abuse, may I?
Yeah, sure.
April, as you know, is Child Abuse Awareness Month, and I attended the Pinwheel Garden kind of event, and it was kind of a sad turnout actually, considering how much child abuse takes place here in Fayette County. So Charlene and I kind of joined forces, and we're putting on this event at the Village Play Center, which is right across from the courthouse, well, kind of across from the courthouse. But we've got some really generous donations. The Lions Club donated us the use of their tent, and so we kind of want to use that corner of the parking lot just to put up like carnival games and stuff like that, because Charlene is donating the Play Center for that period of time. We're going to have it's free admission. Carnival got rides. There's a play
Carnival games, not rides.
Oh my gosh, no, not rides. There's also going to be mental health professionals there from the area to present and answer questions and make literature available to the prevention of child abuse and early detection. So we're here to make a formal request for that corner, just a little corner of the parking lot, so the kids can play at the play center, they can go across the street, they can have popcorn, that kind of thing.
Okay, who's the sponsor?
It's being sponsored essentially by us. It's, there's no fee for anything.
Okay,
We
we're
will
not
be-
concerned, I'm concerned, who's gonna carry the insurance on it?
Liability.
the liability insurance. So Village Play Center carries the liability insurance for the Village
And
Play
you
Center.
need then your agent
Mhm.
to get a certificate of insurance for the parking lot across the
For
street.
the parking lot across the street.
Get that to me or to Julie.
Okay.
Mr. Baker will require it, right? Is that what you want? Okay.
So get a certificate from the insurance
Yeah,
company
go to
that
your
we.
agent and tell them what you're doing so that during that day,
Mhm.
that area will be covered in case somebody gets hurt over there and sue you, but we don't, we want the city covered.
Well, the city needs to be named as an additional insured, basically, on each.
But they don't have insurance on that lot because their
They can get a
operations
certificate.
cross street, so they're gonna have to be sure it's covered.
They can do that, I think, by a rider through your
That's,
policy.
can you get that done? That's this next Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah, they
It's
can
this
get-
coming Saturday, and the key here is that the festival will go on regardless of whether or not we can get access to the city
Yeah.
parking lot.
Yeah.
It was just nice,
We
because
It's
want you,
just
we
that
want you
we-
to have access, I just wanna be sure that the taxpayers pay.
Okay, so we, as long as we get the insurance rider, then we're
No,
covered
they
to.
gotta approve it here, but I don't see a problem with it as long as we got insurance. The rest of you, when's the World Air Prayer?
May
Okay, so
first.
it doesn't interfere with anything, okay.
If if you get the insurance rider,
Mhm.
and the tent is set up across the street,
Mhm.
and the Play Center, which is in the old Bicentennial office, for those who
Yes.
don't know where it's at, and the kids are gonna be going back and forth, are you gonna have adult supervision on Central Avenue, because Central Avenue will not be closed?
Yes, we have volunteers that are
Okay.
gonna essentially act as crossing guards.
Okay, thank you. I saw that. Mr. Mayor, I approve that we, let them use the city parking lot pending the appropriate insurance rider, naming the city for this Saturday from 1 to 4.
Is there a second?
I'll second, please.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion, or anything you wanna ask the girls? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
very
Thank you,
much.
ladies.
Tell the kids, get to work.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Thank
Be
you.
sure to
you
get
guys. Have a
that
great
insurance
afternoon.
certificate to us, will you?
We'll get it to you.
Okay, thank
Nicole,
you.
I need to see you after the meeting.
Okay.
Anything else under public forum here today? You chiefs just here to watch the show, or? Okay. Anything else that you guys have up here? None appearing, I'm ready for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second motion, second? Good second, Mike. Mike, got a motion and a second to adjourn, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.